the fundamental challenges for enterprises? When I think about enterprises, the first thing that comes to my mind is silos. There are data silos, there are context silos, there are signal silos, and now we also have AI silos. Every vendor that you're integrating with has their own AI solution. So now we have AI silos. You have your own internal AI projects, which is another AI silo. You may have multiple ticketing systems. You may use Salesforce and Zendesk and Freshworks or ServiceNow or a plethora of ticketing systems. You may have multiple data lakes. You may use different telephony systems, and then your knowledge is spread across everywhere in the company, from Slack to knowledge base articles to Jira bugs. So all of this data is where AI needs to harness its potential. So the first number one challenge is how do you address the complexity of the enterprise data? You need to think about pulling this data from all of the data sources in real time without overwhelming the source system. You can't make 1,000 API calls every second and bring down all the systems. You have to do differential sync. You have to leverage zero copy where zero copy makes sense. Then you need to think about data protection guidelines. Those are real challenges for enterprises that are dealing with highly sensitive data, especially in the context of support. Then you have multiple different SaaS vendors in your ecosystem, so you have to do cross-cloud data stitching. You bring all the data and you have to normalize the data into a centralized system, then allow it to be a real-time data mirroring so that it can replicate it, so that you can work on the mirrored copy as opposed to the source copy. These are fundamental challenges for any AI project. If you're building an AI project internally, your team is working on these problems. Challenge number two, signals. What do we mean by signals? Signals in business communications are noisy. The language patterns people use when they are interacting in a business communications are very subtle. Sentiments are not the same. The signals there are a lot of nuances there. They need to be extracted. And this extraction is not a one-time thing. It has to be done on a continuous basis. Build context around the signals that you're extracting. And the signals can be signals about your customer, signals about your internal employees, signals about your product, and the commercial aspects of your product. All these are true signals buried in every conversation. Your customer interaction may initially start with a chat conversation. Customer may say, come into your chat widget and say, I have an inquiry, I have some problem. Customer may do an email follow-up. Customer may call you after that. Again, in the context of the same ticket you're working with, the support rep may say, you know what, hey, let me open a ticket because we're having all this informal conversations. Then you go and do an internal research. Maybe you document the internal research or you don't. Some of them can happen in Slack. Some of them are happening in your Confluence pages. Then you do a troubleshooting session saying, I need to get in front of the customer. Let me do a Zoom call or a Microsoft Teams call. Then engineer says, it's a bug. Let's open an engineering bug. Guess what? That's a new ticketing system. Then the customer escalates. Suddenly the account team gets alerted. This customer is hot and happy. Account team needs to jump in. Guess what they're using? They're using Salesforce. That's another system of record. And then you realize to solve this issue, I have to open an ITSM ticket because there's something wrong with the servers that we deployed. So you open an ITSM ticket. Now you're in service now. This is the ground reality of many enterprises, which means in the context of one ticket, you've touched multiple systems of record, multiple systems of engagement. For you to understand what's happening with this particular account, I need to summarize across all of these silos. This is a complex problem. Reality is you need to use a plethora of different AI technologies for enterprises. So there are tools specialized for different functions. So you have to have all this technology, annotation models, precision RAG, gradient boosted trees, domain-specific NLP, reinforcement learning, entity extraction, multi-channel scoring models, a plethora of technology. So when you're thinking about build, you need to have an architect layer across all of this. So the dominant conversation in the industry right now is AI agents. There's AI agents, there's agentic enterprise, lots of buzzwords and keywords, right? Most of them, when they're talking about AI agents, they're talking about some sort of a session-based AI agents. You are in a chat session having a chatbot conversation, or you are in a session for analyzing your data. What we are looking at is what we call ambient AI agents, which is highly composable. So what is ambient AI agents? Ambient AI agents run in the background. It does this automation continuously, 24/7, runs in the background, takes care of it. Here's an example of how in SupportLogic we have composed ambient AI agents. We have a dozen ambient agents. You can take a combination of these agents, put some workflows around it, and solve a problem of a specific persona. For an end customer, we can create a customer portal that can serve knowledge. For a support engineer, you can assist them with language translation or tonality assist, or you can serve the right knowledge for them. For support leader, you can do prioritization, escalation management, so on and so forth. The composability nature is super important. Individually, these agentic systems are 100% autonomous automation running in the background. But that alone is not sufficient. You have to combine them with right integrations and right workflows to get the right ROI, which is the model we've been using for years. So this leads me to this architecture. We are calling this the Customer Experience Platform as a Service. You have all these disparate ticketing data sources, chat systems, voice systems, data lake, knowledge sources, CRM systems. We have built a data extraction engine. We have a data production engine. We host everything in a secure virtual private cloud dedicated per customer. We do continuous signal extraction, running 24/7 ambiently in the background. Take all of this data and put it back into a data cloud so that the data is instantly available anytime you want to use it, because the automation here extracts the signals, calculates everything, puts it back to the data cloud. You can access it anytime. This is what we call as the cognitive AI cloud. It is truly a PaaS solution. This platform as a service solution is what powers the SaaS solution that our customers are familiar with. So if you're using the SupportLogic UI, the power of the SupportLogic UI in the workflows and everything is powered by the PaaS behind it, which is where all the complexity lies. Every enterprise has to go through the stack below, the PaaS stack below, to get value from your customer interaction data. Today, we have 3 delivery mechanisms. We can give you a SaaS. We have a CRM widget, which is embeddable across any kind of CRM, whether it's Salesforce, ServiceNow, Zendesk, Freshdesk, we can embed them. We also have a portal widget, and we'll talk about that shortly, which also means you can also embed this in your customer-facing portal. Those are 3 different ways the insights, the intelligence, the signals gathered by SupportLogic can be embedded in 3 different places. So it's not just a SaaS solution, it's a PaaS solution that can be embeddable in different places. But we're also added a few more places to interact. One is now we have a data cloud, which means you can bring in your own business intelligence dashboards, or you can build your own custom application using Data Cloud. You can also access the data with Model Context Protocol or through Events API. So there are a plethora of ways to consume the intelligence that SupportLogic brings you. SaaS is one consumption mechanism, but you can do amazing stuff if you consume it in other ways. We're doing billions of predictions. We're extracting millions of signals about sentiment, escalation probability, soft skill gaps, commercial signals, escalation factors. These signals, you can harness them for a plethora of use cases beyond what is possible today. You take a customer where you found commercial signals, that data is there. Those are the right customers for you to do marketing automation. That data is now available in Snowflake. You take the data and you kick off a marketing campaign, hyper-personalized for that customer. The future of our industry is going to be hyper-personalization. I want to talk about what you can do with chat, what you can do with your customer portal, what you can do with your CRM, what you can do with your collaboration tools like Slack and MS Teams, and if you have a mobile application, what you can do with your mobile application. So for chat, We're super happy to announce that we're launching SupportLogic Chatbot SX for Agentforce. Now, Agentforce is a relatively new product in the industry. Lots of buzz around the product, and lots of customers are using the product today. So we have native integration with Agentforce. And what this does for you are a few things, and we'll go into the demo in the product keynote very soon. Agentforce integration allows you to monitor your Agentforce interactions, measure the customer sentiment for those interactions, making sure your customers are not overly frustrated when they're talking to a chatbot, or compare how their frustration levels works with a chatbot versus a human agent. Second thing it does is also it increases the resolution rate. Agentforce plugs into the Resolve SX product of SupportLogic to give high accuracy answers for Agentforce. So if Agentforce is not able to answer a certain question, you can plug the Agentforce to ask the question to Resolve SX product of SupportLogic, and it will provide the answers. It also will give you the much needed oversight for Agentforce deployment. Second thing I want to talk about is portals. When we think about customer portal, we are mostly thinking about, hey, a portal is a place where customers will search for some KB articles, go to a community discussion forums, and open a ticket. That's how we're thinking about portals. Customers are reinventing portals. So entity data is one of our customers are completely reinventing how they're thinking about portal. They want to be very transparent with the customers and share insights back to customers about all the support incidents they opened. So they want to show the sentiment of their interactions. They want to show what topics are trending in their support conversations. So they're delivering value back to the customer, not just by saying, here's a place we can open tickets, but you know what? In the tickets, we found all those patterns, and you can surface those patterns. They're also added summarization feature in it. So what it means is if a customer's open hundreds of tickets with you over a period of year, nobody's going to read those 100 tickets and understand what happened in those tickets. So now we can provide summary of those tickets, what happened across all these 100 tickets. So somebody comes in, they logs into the portal, they can get an account summary. It's extremely valuable. We're just scratching the surface of what is possible with the CXPaaS platform of SupportLogic and how we can deliver highly hyper-personalized customer portal. In addition to creating a customer search portal, in addition to delivering a customer portal where you can provide insights back to customers, we also have the ability to give you account summaries for anyone in the account team. This could be your customer success team, your renewals team, your account directors or account execs. If they want to know what's happening with the pulse of the customer, it's very easy to do today with SupportLogic. We are basically monitoring all your customer interactions, summarizing all the interactions, extracting signals, computing an overall account health score, and we can give you insights into what's happening with an account. This has been extremely valuable, even internally within SupportLogic, for us to understand what's happening within every account. This is personally one of my favorite functionality, because always I'm thinking in terms of accounts, not in terms of cases. The knowledge engine that we have, yes, you can deliver that in a portal. Yes, you can deliver that in a CRM widget to assist a support engineer, but also you can deliver that internally to anyone in your organization using Slack or MS Teams. I've always held the belief that support has the best knowledge about your product. Often more knowledge about your product than your product managers, more knowledge than the engineering team that built it, and more knowledge than the sales team that sold the product. This tribal knowledge has to be liberated, should be exposed to anyone in the company so that everybody becomes product expert. When you're onboarding a new employee in the remote first world that we're living in, how do the person learn more about the product? Now there's an easy way to interact. You can ask questions about the product, and instead of asking the question to a support engineer, they can ask it to a bot in Slack that can provide answers. So you can really ramp up your team about the knowledge of the product, which is a very compelling use case, because now support is not only thinking in terms of how do I be helpful to my customers externally, but also how can I be helpful to my employees internally. You can also deliver hyper-personalized mobile experience. Now this is a mock-up. Hulu is not our customer, but I'm just showcasing what you can potentially do with an app like Hulu. Let's say you're looking at a mobile application, and you're having streaming service issues, but your app is not aware of it because that data is a silo in a call center database somewhere else. What the CXPaaS solution allows you to do is take that conversational data that's happening somewhere else and deliver that as a personalized experience when the customer logs into the app and say, hey, I noticed you called the call center, you had a poor customer experience, here's a free month of service. So you can actually prevent a customer churn before it happens. This is the power of the CXPaaS platform. You can turn your outreach to customers more proactive by integrating the signals found in those customer interaction data and seamlessly integrating with all the endpoints that you're using with your customers. You can do this with your chat system as well. When you're interacting, you can make it very hyper-personalized. So with that, I want to show an announcement on a SupportLogic MCP server. This is a technology preview that we are making available today. Anybody wants to use SupportLogic for combining with your internal AI agents, whether it's an internal build project or you're working with another AI agent vendor and you want to fuse SupportLogic capabilities with those vendors, we are launching this MCP service. The MCP server potential is phenomenal. There's numerous things you can do. So you can take the value of SupportLogic signals and predictions outside of SupportLogic SaaS platform to many different places.